weeks ago, the champions were in Bathurst, where we had a fierce race in the Division 2 lobby. This week, well, actually, the week after, we went to Britain, but the cameras weren't working there, so we flew directly to Florida with the cameras, where we are at sunny Daytona, Florida, on the eastern coast at Daytona International Speedway. We'll be racing on the Daytona road course, which uses an infield. It's 3.56 miles of fantastic racing, I can say. There are 12 turns and plenty of the NASCAR track is used, so you'll see a whole lot of high banking and high speed here on this all tarmac track. I love Daytona. I can't say enough about it. The facilities are fantastic, especially since their recent remodel. If you plan on coming here, at least for a major race like the Daytona 24 or the Daytona 500, I suggest that you wear comfortable footwear. You will walk miles. I promise you, there's no other way around it. This place is huge. Now, if you come for a smaller event where there aren't that many people, you can get away with driving everywhere. Speaking of driving, here's our race car for the week, the Mercedes Sls Gt3. It'll have to deal with hard braking in the infield section and top speeds on the big oval. Good thing everyone will have the same aero package. We're all in the same car. The Mercedes-Benz Sls Amg Gt3 is a fantastic race car. It's an older one, but one of my favorites. 613 brake horsepower coming out of that V8. There's a max torque number there that is not in freedom units, so I'm not going to say it. 3,000 pounds, 5 pounds per horsepower. Welcome back to the GT Champions World Cup and GT Champions Racing. I am, of course, your host, Dirty Tati, aka Tatiana Noel. GT Champions is brought to you today and always by Detailing Group, Metropolis, Digit Gaming Academy, Pride of the Dragon, Hypre, and Red, White, and Blue Racing. If you want to know more about our sponsors, check them all out on our website, gtchampions.com. In fact, there's a ton of info on gtchampions.com, so you should probably go check it out anyway if you're a fan of this racing. There's great stuff there, like, of course, our calendar, our upcoming events, driver stats. If you have a favorite driver that you want to support and you want to see how they've been doing throughout the seasons, we are, of course, in our 4th season, but you can see all of their stats right on gtchampions.com. Let's jump in it. This stream is overdue. This recording, rather. I'm recording this off of the replay that was saved on my PlayStation last week, but well, we're here now. Let's talk about our starting grid. We had 14 out of 15 drivers show up to this race. Mobile Edge did not make it, though he did get pole position. So Venom actually started on pole here. The grid is set based on previous race results. It's a reverse grid. So if you are first here, that means you finished last in the previous race at Goodwood. Speaking of Goodwood, why don't we take a look at those race results while we're here? HPR finishing first, followed by Turbo and Roses. By the way, if you haven't seen that finish, you should. That was a fantastic race in the last few laps there. Buck Nasty took 4th place. Knudsen rounded out the top 5 in that. However, it was a fantastic race, big grid. You should check out all of it. Plenty of action there at Goodwood, and they were in a fantastic car as well. Since that race, here are the standings. They're as follows. HPR leads the pack by only 2 points with 41 points over Roses, who's sitting on 39 points. Turbo is in 3rd in the championship with 38 points. Rusty is right behind him with 35, and really nobody's too far away. Carbon with 30 points there. Everyone is pretty close to the car, to the driver ahead of them if we're looking at the points, even on down to 13 and 14th place with Tattooed with 18 points, Frogs with 15. Mobile Edge is way in the back with 5 points, but I think that's because they've missed a few races, which makes sense, but that's okay. That's no biggie. We'll, ooh, I think those results were outdated. Those results were outdated. Okay, looks like we've got Roses sitting with 58 points. Actually, that might be a spoiler. We're going to skip this tile, okay? And we're going to go straight to where I have got us a wonderful lobby going via replay. That is, got a replay ready to go here. This is my first time recording off of a replay on Gran Turismo 7. I've done it in Gran Turismo Sport a lot. I'm curious to know if some of the same issues are there. But the good thing is when you have a replay is that I can do replays. We can't miss anything, y'all. So any passes that we miss, any accidents that we miss, I can pause, I can go back, we can analyze them. That means this recording may be a little bit longer than our usual streams, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. You'll like it. I promise. This is fine. You're gonna love it. Let's get into it here. Well, actually, let's see what our what's our info looking like for this particular race. Well, I already told you we're in the Mercedes Sls Amg. I love this car. It's such a good looking race car. The AMG GT, its successor, is surprisingly even better looking. I don't know how Mercedes pulled it off, but they did. But I love this thing. You're gonna love the way it sounds. It's got a big rumbling V8, which is gonna go wonderfully on this track. This is a fantastic combo. The last several combos have been great. Shout out to Venom, RWB Venom, who's in this lobby, and his brother Igorski, who is in Division 4, I believe. Shout out to them. They are the Higginbotham brothers, and they put together the World Cup here. So all the race rules, all the cars, all the combinations, this is from their brains, and we have a wonderful combo today. As usual, tire rules are the same. You've got one set of racing softs and one set of racing mediums sitting at 1X tire wear. One set of each tire is required to be used, and you can only change your tires during a specific pit window. That pit window starts when we have 50 minutes left in the race. It'll be the 40-minute mark in our instance. You'll see what I mean when we get back on track here. But from 40 minutes to 50 minutes on the clock, drivers can come in and pit and change their tires. They can also take fuel. Fuel consumption is set to 2x, so this will be a fuel-saving race. You're going to want to make sure that you are short-shifting that big V8. It's torquey. It should be able to do it. However, Daytona Raceway, I mean, this is a super speedway. It is a NASCAR speedway. It is meant for top speed. So you're still going to spend a considerable amount of time at the top of the rev range here, just like we saw at Goodwood and just like we saw at Mount Panorama the week before that. So fuel saving will definitely come into effect here. Here's another look at our starting grid in case you missed it before. Mobile Edge did not make it. TCU Frog sitting in 14th place there. His name has changed. It is now... Oh, I don't remember. But when we get on track, I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to show you. I'm going to tell you who he is. Let's see. Why don't we go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to watch the drivers take their formation lap. And from there, we should have a good race, I think. I haven't watched it, so I don't like spoilers, even when I'm watching off of a replay. So I have no idea who won. I don't know who spun into who didn't finish the race. No clue. So this I'm gonna be just as surprised as you all are when I jump onto this track here. Let's make sure we can see all the things, except the things that you're not allowed to see. Only I can see those things because I hold the key. Oh my gosh, that all rhymed. Am I an MC? No? Okay. Well, I thought it was cute. This is just a formation lap. This is the start of the race. Technically, Knudsen leads, but that will actually change. Again, the grid order is as follows. Let me just pull that right back up for you fine viewers here. This is our grid order. Venom will actually be at the top of the order for this race here. So the formation lap is actually used to allow everyone to get into the proper order on the track before the actual racing starts. The race leader keeps the formation lap at a certain speed, just making sure everyone follows the speed limit, and then towards the starting section of the track, as they get closer to the start finish line, they will bunch up, and hopefully everyone will be able to be side by side, so you have a semblance of rows like you would at the very start of a race. There's Knudsen down into 5th already, just as people make their way up. driving through the infield now. They're going to get onto that high banking, which should make passing a little bit easier and a little bit safer. The infield is tough. One thing that we've kind of struggled with in this league is getting through these formation laps safely. As you see, you've got people driving at different speeds. You got someone alongside you. You got folks behind you that are trying to get past. You know, and it can be a little bit sketchy, especially as you approach. Uh-oh, there we go. There's some sketch right there. We happen to catch that. Wooly and Tattooed Freak. I don't see any damage on Tattooed's car or Wooly, so that turned out to have no real consequences there. That's pretty lucky. Nice catch. But yeah, that's what I mean. Ooh, airplane landing at the airport, the international airport, just behind the racetrack there. But these formation laps are set to be orderly, but they can be a bit interesting because of the accordion effect as cars slow down and speed up and brake, and especially with dealing with a little bit of lag in these lobbies in this game. It's pretty easy to run into the back of a car ahead of you and not realize that you were going to do it, and then both of you have to start your race with damage and potentially a pit stop. Drivers are, by the way, allowed to pit to fix damage. I don't think I mentioned that when I gave the rundown earlier. You can pit to fix damage anytime during the race. There's no penalty for that, except, of course, the time it takes to get through pit lane and the time lost due to the damage, but there's no time penalty due to that. However, if you take fuel or tires outside of the pit window, you get a 1-minute penalty for each one, which, you know, could literally be the entirety of the field depending on the race. Nigel Higginbottom, aka RWB Venom, I don't know why his name appears as Venom, goes right there at the start finish line. No one can start until he gets off. He gets a really good start there, and just behind him you got Tattooed Freak, Rusty, and Wooly as they enter turn 1. This is pretty sketchy here. Oh, you got folks bunching up under the brakes. Hopefully nobody taps anyone. Turn 1 is where you're going to see the most accidents on this track. Even in real life racing, the racetrack narrows up really quickly as you enter the infield corners. Looks like everyone made it through pretty clearly there. Little Mac going pretty slowly. I think he had an issue at the start. He said that the driver ahead of him had not actually gone when everyone else went. So that's what I heard. I did not finish watching to know what happened, but it looks like other than that, it's a clean getaway for everyone. Here they are coming through the final turn of the infield there. It's a very short infield, and very quickly you are on the high banks of the NASCAR track. We're going to go on board with Carbon Boys. He follows this slipstream chain past, just behind Apex Roses here, and you can see just how high those banks are, just how steep it is from this angle, and you are hitting your top speeds through here. Now, of course, on the back end there is a chicane that is just for the road course layout, and here we are. You brake hard for this bus stop chicane here. It's a little bit scary. There are new track limits there on the real track, and I believe this game has the new track limits. Tell me if I'm wrong. Sorry if I'm wrong. But Carbon actually loses a little bit of time through there. You can see Newson behind him way closer now, getting all that slipstream through the second of the tri-oval corners through here. And he's actually going to come alongside Carbon Boy and look to make a move on the inside. Makes sense to me. He had a great run out of the chicane, but they're both out of the slipstream, out of reach of the top 5 up there, though. The braking for turn 1 is the great equalizer. Carbon actually gets it better than Knudsen does there. Ooh, Knudsen a little bit sketchy. He saves it. Carbon lets off and lets him by. Obviously not worth getting into an accident this early in the race, but some action already early on. Tires are still going to be cold. You can see it's dark out. The track is cold. The track surface is cold. Ooh, HPR and Butt Nasty, a little bit side by side. Some door banging there coming through, or coming out of the international Horseshoe, but they seem to be okay. No damage that I can see on either car there. Everyone's still bunched up. Headlights up. I forgot to check if this was going to be an overnight race or if this is a sunrise race, right? It would be awesome if it was nighttime. This track at night is it's hard to explain. It's like you just have to be there. You just have to be there. Daytona at night, somehow it gets even bigger at night. I don't know how that makes sense. Ooh, Rusty with a great run onto the oval, and he is gonna get that pass done on Tattooed Freak going into the chicane there. So great job by Rusty, both coming out of the infield and on the brakes there. But Tattooed actually looks like he's got a better run on him and might be able to. Oh no, Tattooed's just gonna give him a little bump draft there. He's happy to just stay behind him. That makes sense to me. And is Venom slowing down there? I thought he might be slowing down. He looks to be a little bit closer. Unfortunately, I've just discovered one glitch that remains from the GT Sport days. You don't get split times in replays on for some reason. That I don't think that was always broken in GT Sport. It seemed to break later on in the game, but looks like they haven't fixed it for this one. So we can't be sure how close anyone is to anyone, but I can tell you for sure that Rusty was not on Venom's bumper like this. So already we've got a speed differential here showing up. Now, people are allowed to take different tires. As I said, there were 2 tire compounds, racing mediums and racing softs. Now, most of the time, the whole field is on the same compound, with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 drivers. I will reveal who is on what when we have 5 minutes left to the pit window. That's something that we normally do only because we live stream these races and the drivers, they can see the live stream, and we don't want anyone getting an advantage by knowing who's got what fuel or tire situation going on. But it just feels right to keep it up in the spirit of the league, even though this isn't live stream right now. So I will keep that hidden until such a time as I can reveal it. You can see the water feature in the infield there at the track. It's a really nice place to just sit alongside the water and listen to race cars drive by, again, especially at night. Listen, get over here for the Daytona 24 in January. Just do it. I'll be there. Come see me. Tell me if you're gonna come. Let me know, and I'll make sure that we hook up. Cell service can be spotty at the track, if only because there could be a lot of people there, but that's mostly during the day. At nighttime, it cools down significantly, and most people go home. Then we'll be able to text each other reliably, I promise. But ooh, what is going on with Buck Nasty and Tommy? Buck Nasty, a little sketchy on the brakes going into turn 1. Tommy turns out to make it okay as well. So that was a little bit of a moment there between those two. Turbo falling behind Moparalysis. Moparalysis? I don't know how I'm going to pronounce it, but Turbo's in the grass. I didn't even see how that happened. But you know what we can do? We can pause and go back and see how it happened. I love it here. I love it here. All right, we're going to stick with Turbo. By the way, Moparalysis is TCU Frogs. So if you are used to seeing the name Frogs, and actually shows up as Frogs on the standings and the race results, so just know that's Mopar. All right, we are Turbo. We're on board with Turbo. We're coming out of the International Hairpin. That's this corner back here. You can see there's flags there. I'm guessing that's why it's called the International Hairpin. Not the Hairpin, I'm sorry. The International Horseshoe. It's the hairpin at the Nürburgring. Anyway, Frogs, does he just get it? Yeah, he just comes off the throttle, on the throttle too soon. Let's go back even further. This is them coming out of turn 1. And then brakes. Oh yeah, just throttle. Yep, just throttle oversteer. Gets in the grass there. Luckily, there's nothing to hit. You know, he's just gonna have to take a ride in the grass. Unfortunately, he gets back on track in front of Buck Nasty, and he's gonna have to deal with dirty tires there. So hopefully, we'll see braking for this next corner here. I mean, hopefully he makes it. Yep, slows down in time, well aware of the situation that he's in. Good driving by Turbo. He's one of the quicker drivers in this division. Everyone in this division is quick, actually, but Turbo, of course, typically at the top of the standings there. But ooh, he looks to be pretty far away from Mopar. Yeah, we can't even see Mopar out of Turbo's windshield. Maybe front bumper. Yep, way up front. You can see Mopar just about to brake for the bus stop chicane, and but nasty with a better exit out of the infield, probably because Turbo was still going to be dealing with traction issues in the rear of that car. That is one of the tougher parts of this track. It's coming off out of the infield and coming onto the oval. It's kind of slippery. There's a big elevation change, and it's kind of an abrupt change from flat to banked. And because of that change, you can lose traction very easily, especially in these rear-wheel drive cars. We're going to watch for cars having issues, maybe spinning out of there, or almost spinning out of there, or just going out very slowly and gingerly, which often is worth it, you know, just to save the car. Of course, that does mean possibly a lower top speed as you come into the braking for the bus stop chicane, but I suppose it's still faster than being in the grass on the left-hand side of the field there. Up front, it's still Venom, Rusty, and Tattooed. Tattooed all over Rusty's bumper. I don't think we've seen any moves from him. I think Tattooed is fine, just saving fuel there. Roses has been there this whole time as well. Wooly is just hanging on to the back of that pack there. And then there's a big gap. I don't know what that gap is, but it's at least a second, maybe 2 seconds between Knudsen and Wooly here. We are on board with Knudsen coming onto that banking. Like I said, probably should have pointed out what I meant. Let's see, who's still in the infield? No one. All right, well, this is Venom's car. Let's see, braking just after the 2 board. Ooh, just before the 1 board. He brakes way later than I do. I don't have these kind of guts, but braking for the chicane there, very smooth coming into and out of it. Traction coming out of the chicane here is actually a little bit better than it used to be, and it's way easier than coming out of the infield section. We're gonna stay on board with Venom here actually for the entirety of this lap. I wish I remembered the names of all the corners. I don't, but we'll take you through a lap around Daytona. That's the start-finish line we just passed there, and then it is hard on the brakes for this tricky braking section for turn 1. It's very, very slow, so you have to brake a lot, but the braking section is not, the braking zone isn't straight, you know, so you're braking and turning at the same time. It's so hard to find the right balance of traction there. And then this is the International Horseshoe I was talking about. Coming out of here, you get a lot of runoff on the left there, and you can use it, but you got to be careful, or else you're going to see, you're going to have what happened with the Turbo happen to you. You're going to end up in that grass. This kink here is full speed, and then it's on the brakes for this next turn here, whose name I can't remember. It's a late apex here. It's a little bit slower than you think it is, and again, you try to get that car straight as quickly as possible for this short straight shoot to the last corner, and then you come onto the high banking here. This is where you have to be careful about traction. This bump right here, it looks way smoother than it really is in this camera view. I think it maybe is the view or the fact that it's a replay, but I promise you that change in elevation is abrupt, and Venom keeps it low on the banks here, and coming up to the bus stop, he's going to brake around the 1 board like we said earlier and go through that smoothly like we saw just last lap. We are just over halfway through the lap here, and then it's right back on that banking, that high speed section there. This NASCAR, this legendary NASCAR section on a legendary track. I don't know how old Daytona is. I should find out through the course of this race. I'll let you guys know, but I know it's up there. Of course, Florida being one of the homes of NASCAR. We're coming to the finish line here to finish this race, this lap rather, and that's a lap around Daytona. Venom goes fastest in that lap, by the way. Look behind him. This fight. Tattooed got past Rusty. I wonder when that happened. Was it a good pass? Let's find out. We can go back. We can go back. We don't have to miss the drama. Now, if it doesn't look like there's too much drama, I won't, you know, go back too far, but this is worth it. It looks like they're all bunched up. Tattoo's still in second here. I can only go back in 10-second increments. Sorry about it. It's definitely a downgrade from previous replay settings, but it's fine. Wow, he must have made that pass a while ago. There it is. He's in third here, so he made it coming out of the infield section, it looks like. Well, let's play it back. Let's see. Whoops, wrong button. I went back another 10 seconds. Doesn't matter. We're with Tattooed Freak here. Here he comes into turn 1, coming into the the infield section, and we'll actually go on hood cam as he chases Rusty there. Pretty good on the brakes. Got Apex Roses all over his back bumper here. So let's just watch how this pass happens. International Horseshoe. Oh, there he goes. A little better on the brakes than Rusty. A little bump and run almost. And Rusty a little bit outside of his line there. And Tattooed is able to make that pass in that way. Now, I don't know if Rusty will be happy about getting passed in that manner. Let's see if he tries to come back, coming out of the infield here. They got one more turn, that left turn coming up here to get onto the oval banking there. Rusty does not brake deeply enough to get on Tattooed's bumper, so the pass is pretty much made. I mean, Tattooed is gone, but by the time they get to turn one again, it looks like they're back bunched up, so I'm going to stay right here with this pack. We'll go and we'll go from hood cam on Rose's car so we can see everything. Nothing doing behind him with Wooly. So this is Rose's following Rusty and Tattooed Freak into the bus stop. I think Rusty just kind of fakes Tattooed Freak out, sort of coming into the bus stop there, the braking section there. That might have slowed Tattooed down because, again, by the time we get to turn one, just past this section of the tri-oval here, these four cars are pretty well bunched up, especially as they come into the braking. We'll see how that happens for them. Wooly missing out on the battle. He's still in the top five, but we definitely can't say that he's in the fight for podium contention at this point. He's pretty far away. Oh, and Roses gets an excellent slipstream, but maybe a late bump draft on Rusty there by Roses. I mean, they're pretty close to the braking section there, the braking point there by the time he bumped him. So another questionable pass. I don't know what the stupid reports say. Like I said, I didn't want any spoilers, so I didn't look at nothing. But a pass made there. So Tattooed and Roses both get past Rusty Maggots in one lap there. And we're on lap 8. 15 minutes nearly into this 90-minute race. At the 40-minute mark, you'll see the pit window open up. Carbon Boy's made his way up into 6th place, by the way. Knudsen follows in 7th. The Truth in 8th, with Mopar Frogs behind him. HPR and Buck Nasty have swapped places. HPR ahead of Buck Nasty, and Turbo back there behind both of them. So these guys languishing in the back a little bit here. They're going to want to, you know, speed it up. Well, they could be saving fuel. Also, a lot of people are on the medium tire. That is the slower tire in the pack. So being on the medium, you probably don't want to waste a whole bunch of fuel. Why not save it? You're already not on that great a tire, so a lot of cars will come alive when they put the softs on. We are looking at our race leader here. Venom had pole position, is keeping the lead ahead of Tattooed Freak. Whoa, he's got a 2.5-second penalty. I wonder how he picked that up. Oh, Tattooed, we won't go back and see it. It doesn't look like it was too dramatic. I don't see any big changes in timing. Probably just cut something. So Tattooed unfortunately loses position to Roses and Rusty Maggots, and he's gonna have to settle for 4th place for now. Wooly is right there with him. Carbon Boy right behind Wooly and Knudsen as well. I didn't realize they were so close to Wooly. Where's the Truth? The Truth isn't too far off either. The pack isn't all that spread out just yet. You can see on the map in the upper right hand corner, of course, those arrows all still relatively in this, occupying the same space of track for the most part here. And I'm hoping this race stays relatively close. This is a massive track, you know. I think we said it was 3.56 miles was the length, so it's a pretty huge place. Easy to spread out when there's only 14 of you here. Easy to everyone end up in their own kind of bubble, just kind of fast lapping. But while it is a big track, it's a pretty technical track. You know, it's surprisingly, and I think it's because of the high speed sections, right? I think a lot of people see tracks with lots of straights or high speed and consider it not a technical track. But what you fail to realize is, because top speed is so important, it makes braking and turning and accelerating that much more important, because if you come out of this chicane incorrectly, or if you languish in there, just kind of brake too hard or spend too much time in it, you're gonna lose a ton of time to the cars around you. So yeah, it may feel like this track is kind of a mindless slog of just, all right, full throttle, brake, turn, turn, full throttle, brake, turn, turn, full throttle. But really, the concentration required to remain in contention in a race around here, especially a longer race around here, is immense. Take it from me, I've done 3-hour enduros around here on earlier Gran Turismo games, and of course, if you have ever watched the Daytona 500, or especially the Daytona 24-hour, because you've got the infield section here, rather, you'll see it's just not easy to stay right up on your rival's bumper around here. Any small mistake can mean huge consequences, not even towards the end of the lap, just, almost right away. HPR in 10th, leads a little pack. Buck Nasty, Turbo right up on their bumper there, so Turbo may be looking to try to get around Buck Nasty at least. HPR doesn't have that much of a lead on them. Buck Nasty still seems to be in the slipstream, but that's what I mean. Getting this exit even slightly wrong is the difference between being in the slipstream and being way out of it by the time you get to the bus stop chicane at the end of this section of Tri-Oval. So kudos to all of these drivers. You can see the consistency with which they're staying with one another. Division 2 is... Oh, is that? It is. Our leader with a half-second penalty, Venom. Where'd he get it? We gotta go back. We gotta go. The leader has a penalty. We gotta find out how he got it. All right, he doesn't have it here coming into the bus stop, so he must have cut something in the bus stop, which pretty common actually. The track limits there aren't all that forgiving. So yeah, Venom with a half-second penalty. That's not what he wants, because he's not that far away from Roses here, and he's going to take that right here. Now, still a pretty high-speed section of track. You can see the brakes being applied to the car, so he's not going... There's going to be protection by the fact that he's coming up in turn 1 here. Now, if this were a longer piece of track, or if that Roses braking into the marbles, a bit slippery, that has to come out a bit slowly. See now Rusty all over him because of it, and gives Venom some breathing room. But if Venom had to take that penalty earlier in a longer section of track, maybe Roses would have been all over him and maybe made a pass into the next corner. But I think the penalty placement on this track is fairly lucky, as long as you've got a fairly short penalty. Anything over half a second, with a gap like what we saw, Roses probably would have been all over Venom in the braking zone there, and it would have been up to Venom to maintain composure after picking up a big penalty like that. It's not that easy, and if you are somewhat of a psychological driver like me, because I'm slow, I gotta play with your mind. I'm gonna know that, right? I'm coming up behind you. I know you just picked up a big penalty, so I know you're probably pissed about it, right? Hopefully, what I'm hoping is that you're not able to just breathe your way through it and get your braking right in turn 1. I'm going to make it look like I'm making a move in order to throw you off on your braking, hoping that your mind is sitting on that penalty that you got back there. Rusty into the bus stop. Fantastic pass made there by Rusty. I mean, that was as close as it gets. No penalties. It was textbook. Oh, well, never mind. Let's go back. You know what? Let's watch that go down from Rusty's point of view. He's behind Roses. He's got a great slipstream. Probably got a great exit out of the infield and comes into the chicane here. I think it was the that first turn that he cut there. But yeah, he picks up a penalty. I mean, rather pick up a penalty than hit the other driver. Of course, he left plenty of room for Roses. Very respectful racing between the two of them. Unfortunately, it results in a penalty. Rusty's going to lose probably 2 positions here because Roses is right there, right up on him. And Tattooed Freak is not too far behind. Yep, there goes Roses. Tattooed right behind him into braking for turn 1. Tattoo is going to go up down the inside there and gets that pass done before braking. So Rusty finds himself right back in the 4th place after that penalty. And look at Wooly. He's still in it. He's still in it. Still in the top 5, holding on to this gaggle. Where are we in the race? We are 21 minutes into the race here. Almost 22 minutes. So a little halfway through this first stint. Of course, when the 40-minute mark hits, we'll start to see people diving into the pits there. Not everyone will dive in right away. In fact, most people tend to stay out a little bit longer, but you'll see people pitting at all stages. As long as they make it out, you know, past the pit line before that pit window closes, they're okay. And these drivers are pretty good about practicing this stuff. They've been practicing all week. They're going to have it down to a T to know when they need to pit and how much time they've got to pit in and pit back out. They're going to know exactly what lap they're going to want to pit in on, or what range of laps, depending on what the cars around them are doing. Of course, sometimes you got to strategize based on what the enemy has going on. Tattooed is back past Roses. Well done there by Tattooed. Made a pass somewhere. Probably a nice pass. Are we going back? No, let's not go back for this one. We'll go back for major stuff, or the things that I'm really, really interested. But he leads this pack again. 2nd place for Tattoo. He's not able to catch up to Venom. Venom's had a whole penalty and everything, and he's still running away from these cars constantly, but not able to really get away. He's just able to keep them on a string, but the string is still attached. Roses braking behind Tattoo into turn 1. Man, I gotta tell you, braking into turn 1 here when you're racing with other people is so scary. It just is. You know, I tend to brake very early because, of course, you've probably got a ton of slipstream behind this person and you're carrying a lot of speed, so you do have to brake early. I tend to drag on the brake before we're really in the braking zone, or maybe just try to get out of the toe. If I know I'm not going to make a pass, I'll dive out of the slipstream just to get some more air resistance on the front of my car before I actually brake, because it's so easy to run into the back of the car in front of you and ruin both of your races, and that's not what we want here. These are full damage races. This is a full damage league. That's why there are concessions for people pitting for damage. They can do that without taking a penalty, because what full damage means in this race is that the car doesn't automatically heal itself. There are 3 stages. There's no damage, light damage, and full damage. No damage is exactly what it sounds like. You can hit the wall as hard as you want and your car will be perfectly fine. The paint will just be a little bit scuffed. Light damage means that you will suffer mechanical damage on the car. That can be aerodynamic damage, it can be suspension or wheel damage, it can be engine damage, which is catastrophic because it slows your car way down. However, after a few seconds, that damage will correct itself. And so you'll be able to keep on going without having to take a pit stop. Full damage means the damage never goes away. If your car is damaged and you want to fix it, you've got to pit to do that. And so you'll see people driving with damage and they just won't bother getting rid of it because it may not be worth the penalty of going through a long pit stop. Ooh, Roses picks up a penalty into turn 1 there. I did see that he was just outside the line, I think is what I saw. Let's go bumper cam and just see what we can see here. Oh yeah, he's way out of bounds coming into turn 1. Avoids hitting Tattooed Freak, of course, but picks up a penalty because of it. It is what it is. He's going to have to eat that when they get to the penalty marker towards the end of the lap. Ooh, and Rusty comes and just dives in. He's like, hey, you've been messing up. Roses actually gets a nice little undercut attempt there. These two have been going at it side by side, door to door. Roses ahead of Rusty, goes around the outside at the kink there, but Rusty looking racy and maybe saying, hey, you got a penalty anyway, I'm going to take this position. Roses is probably thinking, bro, I got a penalty anyway, like, don't wreck us. Here's Wooly's right behind us, don't give him a chance here. Could also be Roses being a little bit slow. Sometimes you can't help it. The car in front of you is slow. You just get alongside. It is what it is. But Rose is going to have to eat that penalty. He's sitting fairly far from Tattooed here. He's not in Tattooed slipstream for sure, so it's not even really bothering to try to get one off of him. But he's going to lose even more time to Tattooed there. Rusty and Wooly will pass with this half-second penalty. Wooly will probably make it happen just before turn 1. Carbon Boy could even come into play. Maybe not for turn 1, but likely will be racing Roses after he takes this penalty. And here he is coming to the line now. He's going to have to slow down for that in just a few seconds. We're going to watch Rusty. Let's see, he goes to the inside line on the track here, just trying to get out of the way. Not really, just trying to defend as much as possible. So it makes Rusty go around the long way to pass him, and Wooly's not going to be able to make it happen before here. Even Rusty had to take kind of a sketchy way around. So Rose is being smart about where he took that penalty there. Only loses 1 position, and not by that much. He's right on Rusty's bumper as they come into the infield section right now. Now look up front. Tattooed is right on top of Venom. Like, there's almost no space between Venom. Puts down the fastest lap just there. So Venom's still up there in speed. However, Tattooed is all over him. So Venom might be having trouble. I don't know. We're almost 30 minutes in. Tires could start to be an issue. We're almost halfway through the race. 45 minutes is the halfway mark, but there shouldn't be that much of an issue. Hopefully he hasn't been eating his tires up that badly during the race, but it's not unheard of to start seeing tire degradation affect people's lap times. And looks like I can't get lap times. I didn't even notice. So I can't see what people's previous lap times were. Tattooed actually has the fastest lap. Sorry. It's a 1:46.1. I thought Venom did. I was looking. Venom was taking fastest sectors. My bad. But what is this? Yeah, Tattooed is coming right up on him. Now, Rusty was ahead of Roses already. So we're seeing that. But Tattooed makes a pass on Venom there, coming out of the bus stop. Is he going to keep that position? Ooh. And right behind him, Roses alongside Rusty. And I think Roses has the inside back there. We're going to stay with the lead race here. Let's see what Venom does in the braking. He's not able to make a move on Rusty, on Tattooed in the braking, but Roses does get past Rusty Maggots. And so a positional change there, 2 positional changes in that last lap in the top 5 here. And Wooly hasn't seen any of that. Wooly's just kind of been chilling. Just chilling in 5th place. No drama from him. Probably he's having a great race. Having a good time. Watching the entertainment ahead of him. Carbon Boy racing all alone. The Truth has Knudsen on his back end. I think Knudsen enjoying the slipstream there. The Truth was behind him before, so a pass for position there between those two. Ooh, Turbo and Roses. Not Roses. She's Mopar, a.k.a. Frogs, added side by side in the infield. Now, this is a pass by Turbo on Mopar. He's got past Buck Nasty and HPR. I don't see any damage on those cars, so I don't know when that pass was made. I'm not going to go all the way back and try to find out. We had some stuff going on up front. We stuck to the front race, but HPR has come out at the bottom of all of this. He's second to last. Tommy Moon is way back there. He's just coming out of the infield section. No damage on that car, so I think this is just a pace issue for Tommy here. But yeah, the new race is between Mopar and Buck Nasty. Now Buck Nasty getting past Mopar into the chicane, and he goes deep on the brakes. I think he almost hit Turbo there. I don't even know if he really meant to do that, but he caught way up the Turbo on the brakes there. I thought he was gonna hit him. But that's a pass from Buck Nasty. And now I wonder if Turbo and Buck Nasty are going to run away from this backpack here. They're pretty far away from Knudsen. We can't even see Knudsen on the track here. As you can see on the map up top, Knudsen's all the way around that tri-oval section there. So basically the curvature of the earth, if you've ever been to Daytona, is what it feels like. You sit on one end of Daytona and look at the other end. It feels like you can't see the other end because of the curvature of the earth. That's how big it is. If you're on the outside, the outside of that grandstand section there, you can't see one side to the other. Ooh, Buck Nasty, what was that? Let's go back and see what that was, because I heard it, but I didn't really see it. And he's around. Oh, yeah, we definitely be playing this. We are definitely playing this. What is going on with Buck Nasty? Let's go chase cam. Oh, that's not wrong button. Chase. There we go. Behind Turbo. Oh, he's just deep on the brakes. He's deep on the brakes, and he taps Turbo there, and then just a little bit sketchy on the throttle coming out of the Horseshoe, and Mopar gets into him because of that. I don't see any damage on Buck Nasty's car as a result. That doesn't feel right. I wonder if we're unable to see damage. We'll find out. Maybe that is right. But unfortunately, Buck Nasty loses out big on that. Mopar does as well, actually, because now HPR is back in the 10th place ahead of Mopar. Now they all lose time to Turbo. Look at that gap. There's Turbo, and then almost out of the camera frame was HPR being followed by Moparalysis. Okay, that's how it's said. Moparalysis. Got it. Buck Nasty, nowhere near these two, really. He's going to have a lot of ground to cover after that issue there. That's unfortunate for Buck Nasty there. I'm almost tempted to watch to see if he pits, to see if maybe there is damage and we just can't see it. Tattoo Freak way ahead of Venom now. So Tattoo not only made that pass, he is running away with the position. Venom has kept second place, but Roses and Rusty are right there. And of course, they're going to see that, hey, Tattooed made this pass, and we weren't that much slower than Tattooed. Of course, there was a gap between them, but I think that was more due to penalties than anything else, as both Roses and Rusty took penalties at some point in the last few laps here. They're going to see that that pass was made on Venom, and that makes Venom pray. If I see someone pass you, and not only pass you, they're putting a gap on you, and I know I was keeping up with that person earlier, you're prey, and now I'm looking for my pass. The Truth still leading Newton. These two stayed out of the drama behind them. Of course, it was way behind them. Turbo survived it, has gapped everyone involved. HPR picked up a couple positions from it. Moparalysis doing okay. Buck Nasty did not pit, so Buck Nasty feeling like that car is okay. So I'm gonna guess no damage on that car. We're 33 minutes into the race. Pit window opens up very soon. In fact, why don't I go ahead and take the bottom banner off just so that you all can see where we're at. As far as tires and fuel and all that jazz goes. And actually, I can do this a different way. Let's do that. Let's do that. That. And voila! Now you can see it, and you can still see the clock. Tattoo with a penalty. So our leader with a half-second penalty. It's only half a second. He had a pretty big gap. Roses is past Venom now. It looks like he was able to just get a good run out of the bus stop. But Venom on the brakes, still keeping Roses on his toes. However, Roses does make that pass stick. So that's what I meant. One lap ago, Roses saw a pass, and he said, it's going to be my turn. And one lap later, boom, into turn one. Rusty's going to be looking for his turn as well. Now, you'll notice Venom is on the racing soft, so Roses isn't really out of the woods yet. It looks like those softs still have some life in them. However, they've fallen off significantly, of course, compared to the mediums that everyone else is on. Tattoo, of course, made that pass a few laps ago and was putting a gap on Venom, which was my first hint that those softs were falling off. Go Freak. Roses still leading. So, yeah, maybe Venom struggling with those tires a little, just staying in the top three here. We saw that work for, oh my gosh, was it Little Mac? Or was it Carbon Boy? Someone last race stayed up front on the soft tires. Wasn't really able to run away in the first stint, but just stayed in the top three, stayed in podium contention, and then just towards the end of the race ended up, I believe, P5. So Venom just trying to get some top points here. He's had several bad races so far, doing really well in this one actually. Still holding on, still in a podium spot towards the end of the first stint here. So good job by Venom there. Carbon Boy in 5th place now. Something happened to Wooly. Something, a penalty maybe? We'll go back 30 seconds just to see. Oh yeah, it's already happened. So yeah, we're gonna have to just have missed whatever happened there to Wooly. But Wooly out of 5th place and down into 7th, unfortunately. There, I don't see damage on the car, so it could have been a penalty. Maybe took a penalty last lap. Around this time last lap, we were watching some passes being made by Roses, and oh, Roses back behind Venom, so Venom took that position back from him. Can we see that one? Do we miss that one? We didn't miss that one, did we? We missed it. Oh, looks like he made it right into the bus stop, though. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it. Yep. Here he comes, Venom. On the inside, goes deeper into the brakes for the bus stop. Roses actually probably braked a little bit earlier than he normally would have. I think maybe he was hoping that Venom would go wide and he could get an undercut there. That didn't happen. So Venom gets that position back, and so Rose is back into 3rd place. But I think he knows that he's got pace over Venom. Now, as we get towards closer and closer to the 40-minute mark. Now, Carbon Boy and Truth are still running together. As I said, we saw Wooly down to 7th place, followed by Knudsen, who was behind the Truth. So Wooly cutting off that pair there, and way behind Knudsen, who, is he coming alongside Wooly on the outside here? Wooly's got the inside for turn 1, though. I mean, it's going to be hard for Knudsen to make the pass, but he does it gutsy into turn 1, around the outside, makes a pass on Wooly, and is able to almost easily make that happen. I almost think Wooly braked a bit earlier than he needed to, which, you know, is advisable when you're coming on the inside of a turn like that. It's a sharp left turn suddenly, and you don't want to get caught out going wide there for sure. So Wooly loses that position to Knudsen, but look at the gap behind them. HPR is nowhere near them. I mean, they are all in the infield section, but you can see them. They're coming out of the corner just ahead before HPR is even braking for it. So this huge gap from 8th to 9th exists, but it's not due to tires, it's due to pace. All these cars are on mediums. HPR has gotten past Turbo, by the way, so something must have happened to Turbo to have gotten caught up and passed that way. Well, Paralysis did not get the pass. Looks like there's still a big gap between those two, so could be a penalty or something like that. Makes sense. Tommy Moon still leading up the rear. I think we lost the driver. We still got Buck Nasty. I could be wrong. Knudsen, half-second penalty, so probably gonna lose a position to Wooly, who we saw him pass not too long ago. It'll be close to Wooly's, not that close to Knudsen. So Knudsen's already, served that penalty, and yeah, he's getting closer, but it's not gonna be enough, not before the braking. So Knudsen lucky not to lose a position there at all. He's actually still pretty close to the Truth, Serum, and Carbon Boy. So that half-second penalty, it's enough to lose a position if the car is right on your bumper, but it's not a devastating penalty. However, picking up multiples of them, like Rusty here, picking up another one can be detrimental. As you recall, Rusty was up in 2nd place for a while. They were at least battling for 3rd, if I recall, at the start of this stint, but he's already picked up a half-second before. Here comes a second half-second penalty for him. Venom is ahead of him on those soft tires, and looks like Roses has made that pass yet again for 2nd place. People will start pitting in the next couple of minutes here, and we'll see where they are. Fuel is kind of all over the place. You know, you got some people did a great job saving fuel, others not so great. This is a race where fuel saving was going to be important, but if you can eke out a nice gap like Tattooed has here, maybe not that important, but actually it's not that nice a gap. I just saw Roses is still in the same camera frame, yeah. So it's not a huge gap, not enough to overcome. Look at how much fuel is in Rose's car versus Tattooed's car here. right? So that's enough to make a difference in a pit stop. That's enough to make a pass in a pit stop, depending on how much more fuel they're going to take before the end of the stint. I'm guessing that most people are going to take a full tank of fuel, because we're not even at the halfway mark here. We're 39 minutes in. Halfway is 45 minutes, and most people are at the bottom of their tank. At best, folks are sitting on a quarter tank of fuel. And we know that they've got several more minutes of high speed, you know, top of the rev range racing to go before they can safely say that they've finished this stint, or they can go half the race on one tank. Turbo is right back on top of HPR, so that pass was made. However, Turbo is not looking to let it stay that way. He definitely wants that position back, wants back into 9th place. Let's see, fuel. Sorry, turbo fuel, HPR fuel. So if anyone's going to make a pass in the pits, it's not going to be Turbo unless HPR just, you know, unless Turbo short fuels for some reason. But he's looking really good behind HPR here. But Nasty kind of languishing. He's not been able to catch back up with this pack ever since falling back from there, ever since that spin. It doesn't seem to be getting closer. Of course, we don't have actual split time, so I can't tell you with scientific surety that he's not getting any closer, but it doesn't feel like it. Okay, it just doesn't feel like it. Alright, Turbo getting that fuel warning. We're starting to see the first of the fuel warnings here. Let's go back up front, see how those people are doing. Newton, The Truth, Carbon Boy. Oh, Carbon's also on the softs. I hadn't even realized. Carbon Boy also on the softs, just like Venom. Rustic Maggots. Venom is starting to get that low fuel warning there. Roses still looks pretty decent on fuel. Ooh, in the grass a little bit. That could have been really bad. Could have been spin, but he's able to hold on to it and keep that big V8 from putting him backwards. He's catching up to Tattooed. Wonder if Tattooed either had a bad lap or if maybe Tattooed is starting to feel his tire wear a little bit more than Rose's. Tattooed is very, very low on fuel. Could be fuel saving, trying to make it to the halfway point. That could be the reason why he is slowed down there, because that's looking bad. I mean, we are 42 minutes in, halfway again is 45 minutes, so I don't know that he has 3 minutes worth of fuel in that car. And so trying to save as much of it as he can makes sense to me before he pits. Both of these drivers, of course, are teammates. That's why you see the similarities in their liveries. Ooh, Tattooed! Did he miss his braking? What just happened there? Tat, you were doing so good! You were doing so good! Here comes braking for the chicane. Oh, yeah, he brakes way late. I think he just lost his concentration there. It happens. This is what I mean. It's so easy to lose concentration here, and that ends up in him losing the whole position. He's going to lose a bunch of time, too. It's not a very good exit out of the chicane, though. If he can catch a slipstream off his teammate here, it looks like he is. He is in the slip, so he's getting back up in the toe, and I think he's going to opt to pit here. We are in the pit window. He realizes I can't go another lap, so I'm going to go ahead and pit 2% fuel. This is our first pit stop we're seeing. Tattooed Freak. We're going to take a look and see how long that pit delta is. See if maybe we can get a timer on it. I think it shows it briefly coming out of it, but even if it doesn't show it, you can get an idea of what it's like. We are still waiting. He's finally in his box. Beautiful SLS getting tires put on. Now it's going to be fuel. Got others pitting behind them. HPR, Mo Paralysis also into the pits. Those two were racing pretty close together, so I expect that they'll come out fairly close together. Both of them coming in with 13% fuel in that car. So Tattooed, obviously not as good at fuel saving, 2%, but of course he had to run from behind. He started in second place, took a penalty very early on, a pretty large one, lost positions, worked his way all the way back up to the front of the race. All of that takes fuel. So Tattooed out of the pits. Now coming out isn't as long as going in. As you can see, he's already right on out and onto the track on a fresh pair of softs. Fresh set of softs rather. He's going to want to be a little ginger. Those tires are cold, but probably still feel better than the mediums, the worn mediums he just came off of. Now HPR and Mopar both out, both took 100% fuel, and so their pit stops would have been pretty much identical in timing. Venom leads Roses, and Venom is almost out of fuel. Where are they? Okay, they're coming up to the pit lane now, so he should make pit lane no problem. I think Rusty's coming in as well. Yep, Rusty. No. Rusty does not come in. Okay. Alright, well. Okay, never mind. He's got more fuel than it looked like. For a second, it didn't look like he had much fuel. Oh, Venom comes in with 0% fuel in that car, so he couldn't have gone another foot in that thing. I hope that didn't slow him down too much. Of course, part of his strategy on starting on the softs is keeping as many positions as he can while defending on the mediums. And so having an unscheduled slowdown due to running out of fuel definitely isn't what anyone wants. Turbo also comes in on 0% fuel. I wonder if people are running out of fuel out on the track. I hope not. I hope they're just kind of coming in just in it. We are at the 45-minute mark now, so these drivers hitting the halfway point almost perfectly. Tattooed Freak coming around now is going to pass a whole bunch of people who are currently in the pits. We still have people out who have not pitted yet, of course, but Tattooed with clean air is putting in fast laps on those softs, and that's what's needed. You know, he pitted very early on, undercut everyone. He comes out ahead of Venom there, so that's good. He's not going to get caught behind a medium-tired driver. So Tattooed with a very good outlap there for himself. Now, who else? Turbo's still in the pits. Tommy Moon in with 6% fuel. Tommy's been sitting in last place for the entirety of this race so far. So just being a good sport, finishing it out. Never know, there are points available. Only if you are on track to claim them, right? Can't claim any points if you're not on the track. Roses has not pitted yet. Is he coming in now? Nope. Passes the entrance. Roses just trying to get some fast outlaps. Rusty comes in with 1% fuel. I thought he'd be coming in pretty soon. Roses did a pretty good job saving fuel. We saw earlier he had a whole quarter tank while a lot of people were sitting on half of that, and everyone else is in. I expect that Rusty will come in. Roses will come in maybe on this next lap. It's a 1:45 lap around the track. See everyone here coming in with almost no fuel. Carbon with 7%, but everyone else sitting at 1 and 0% fuel. So everyone running it literally to the ragged edge. Who's that with a penalty? That is Tattooed with a penalty. That's not what he wants. That's definitely not what he wants. He's supposed to be getting fast laps in clean air, and penalties are not fast. He still doesn't have anyone around him, though there are a bunch of people on pit lane now, and this could... I'd be upset if I came out in traffic because of a half-second penalty. Let's see. He's in turn 1 now. This is where pit lane exit is. We can't see from this camera angle if anyone's coming just yet. Yeah, ooh, we got lucky there. Rusty comes out behind him. He comes out just ahead, and that was definitely a fight for position. So that half-second penalty saved him. However, now he's put Rusty a lot closer to him, of course. Rusty on cold tires compared to Tattooed, but they are a few laps newer than Tattooed's tires, at least 2 laps. And that's not going to mean anything now, but it might mean something towards the end of this stint. Has everyone pitted now? This also serves as your rundown of people's fuel and tire situation. Most people took a full tank. Roses into the pits now with 2% fuel. He's got 2 minutes before the pit window closes, so plenty of time. He'll get out in a good amount of time. We'll see where he comes out compared to Tattooed and Rusty specifically. Yep, Roses is the last to pit. Where is Tattooed? Tattooed is coming into the bus stop chicane right now. I think it's gonna pass Roses. Maybe, I don't know. Roses is getting fuel already. The tires go on pretty quickly. The tires all go on at one time, so it's kind of like a Formula 1 pit stop in that way. The fuel is what takes a long time to get put in that car. Now, Tattooed coming around the last of the tri-oval turns, and he's coming into turn 1 now. Where is Roses? Not moving yet. He's not moving yet. Tattooed is officially ahead of him, and Roses is not out of his pit stall yet. So Roses is going to lose a bunch of positions there. Tattooed passed him. Rusty passed him. Oh my gosh, get me up there. What? How does that work? No way. Is that how quick coming out of the pits is? I think that's how quick coming out of the pits is. Look at everyone passing him. And yeah, he makes a jump ahead of them. I see. It kind of jumps you ahead. So you don't actually do the drive out of pit lane. I kind of forgot about that. We did just watch that earlier, huh? So Roses inherits the lead because of those in laps that he took while everyone else was pitting, and he still had fuel in that car. So Roses in first place, Tattooed in second. He's not gonna be happy that his teammate took that spot from him there. And look at how close. That's that half-second penalty. That's where that half-second penalty went, right there. To this position, Tattooed would have been in first place had he not had to eat that. Now, we've seen Roses take one before, so there's no telling if Tattooed is able to stay right up on him, he might get the position back. You never know. But right now, I can say with certainty that half-second penalty messed Tattooed up. He's going to give his buddy a bump draft here, coming towards the bus stop chicane. Rusty is just behind the two of these drivers. Where's Venom? He's on those medium tires, so he's going to be on a slower tire than any of those three drivers ahead, and he's already way behind him, so he can't even rely on maybe getting a slipstream from them for a little while to hold off drivers like Carbon Boy, who is right there behind him. I wasn't expecting him to be right here, but here we are, right on his bumper. Carbon Boy also on the mediums, though, so these two should actually have similar pace. The Truth is who they have to worry about. The Truth on the softs. He's a while behind him. He's a little bit behind him, over a second, but he'll be coming in because at every braking point, every corner exit, and some of the longer corners like the Horseshoe and the hairpin on the other end of the infield section, and certainly turn 1 here, he's going to be able to carry more speed into, through, and out of these corners, and it looks like he's already that much closer to those two, just as I was talking about this here, because he is on the softer tire. Let's take a look at our order. Truth in 6th. We already saw Roses, Tattooed, and Rusty in first through third. Venom and Carbon Boy running together in 4th and 5th. The Truth in 6th here. Knudsen just behind him in 7th. So these two have been running together almost since the very start of this race. Even though we saw Knudsen fall back due to issues or penalties, we're not sure what happened. But he's right back with the Truth here. Wooly goes from running in 5th for the vast majority of the first stint to now in 8th place, and he's got a pretty big gap between himself and the cars ahead of him. So he's got a lot of catching up to do there. Ooh, the Truth on Carbon Boy. Now remember, Carbon's on those mediums, so the Truth with a better exit out of the infield section, and also Knudsen. Really, Knudsen was right there with him. It's just there's only room for one car to pass, right? But Knudsen will be looking to get around Carbon Boy soon too. You don't want to get stuck behind medium tire traffic, and sure enough, he gets a much better exit out of the chicane, and so he's going to be able to make that pass fairly easily. He'll be way past him by the time they get to turn 1. The Truth running on Venom, looking to see where that gap is. Kind of gave him a little bump draft, gave Venom some speed there. He's going to go around the outside. He should be able to outbrake Venom around the outside as long as he's brave here. It's very easy to get out in those marbles on the outside of this turn, like right there. It's a little bit slippery, and Venom is actually able to maintain that position because of it. The Truth trying to find a way around him. This is all slowing the Truth down, but of course, even slower is ending up in the outside sections of the track where it's very dirty and slippery, and causes you to lose speed when you don't need to be losing speed. So the Truth will be looking for another opportunity to get past Venom here. Probably could get a better exit out of the infield. Oh, Knudsen coming up on him on the brakes there. He has to brake earlier than expected because Venom has to brake earlier than expected. This is all bringing Carbon Boy right into this, by the way, or keeping Carbon Boy into this. He is on those medium tires, if you recall. Knudsen with a nose on the inside of the Truth, wondering if maybe I can use the fact that the Truth is stuck in traffic to get a nose ahead. He doesn't. He's going to stick behind him. The Truth, does he get a better exit than Venom? He is getting a little bit closer. That seems to be more slipstream than exit speed, and it's not going to be enough, but he might be able to outbrake him into the chicane here. Can he see the braking point? No, he's going to brake early. Doesn't want to risk it. Doesn't want to take that dive. I don't really blame him, but he's going to want to make something happen. Yep, quicker through the chicane, just like Knudsen was earlier on Carbon Boy, and now he's going to make the pass down the inside. I think he lost a lot of time there, though, stuck behind Venom. Venom doing a good job to defend. That's his whole MO here, right? Is I started on the softs, and that kept me in the top 3, really, and now I'm just trying to maintain as many positions as I can keep. It's always easier to defend than it is to pass. Of course, tracks with high-speed turns like this, or high-speed sections like this, could be the great equalizer there. You know, even if someone is defending very well, you know, if you get a better exit somewhere, then you can make a pass, or a really, really good slingshot and slipstream, then you can easily make a pass there. Let's check out the rest of the field. It was looking pretty peaceful for the most part. HPR is pretty far ahead of Turbo and Mo Paralysis, so Turbo kind of been chilling with Mopar since before the pit stops. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put the banner back on. You guys just, you guys. No one said anything. Probably because no one's actually watching live, but still, it's the principle. Bottom banner's up, secrets up. All right. Oh, Tommy with engine damage and looks like big drama. Let's go all the way back and see what's going on with him. He's running in last place, as we said. Now, this is Tommy, turn 1, coming into the infield. He ends up in the grass there, and he's on the gas. Shouldn't be on the gas. Yeah, gets into the wall there, just spins it into the wall because of that. So now he's got to do the whole turn around, and that sucks. It's the very start of the lap as well, so it's gonna be a long lap around with engine damage. He's gonna be moving real slow on this one. That's unfortunate there for Tommy. Just I think that's our first time seeing anyone actually get damage, so been pretty consistent running in this race, which is fantastic. I love to see it. The two Apex drivers still running together in the tri-oval. Is that dude in the slip? Looks like he's just in Rose's slipstream. So those two teammates working together to run away from Rusty. Seems to be working. Rusty's pretty far away from both of them. As you can see, they're way up there, two specks in the sunlight. Well, Rusty has got plenty of time, actually, to try to catch back up to them. We are 56 minutes into the race. Not even 2/3 of the race done yet. Almost done. But it's a 90-minute race, so anything can happen. Rusty can catch back up to these two. Now, Venom has lost a position to both the Truth and Knudsen, so Venom sitting in 6th place now. Carbon Boy behind him. And on those mediums, we saw those that series of passes start happening a few laps ago. Wooly, not too far away from any of them, but I'm just not really seeing much out of Wooly, regardless of where he is on the track. When he was sitting in 5th place, he was kind of hanging on to the top 3 pretty well, the top 4 rather. Wasn't ever too far, but wasn't ever really close, wasn't in the mix really, but here he is in 8th, and he doesn't seem to be in the mix here either. He does put together the fastest sector there, so very fast through the infield, and he may be catching up to Carbon Boy here. Another fast purple sector for Wooly, so maybe coming alive now, but Wooly's been in 8th place for what feels like a very long time. I feel like Wooly's a creature of habit, you know? He's a person who sits in the same seat every day, even though they're not assigned. You know what I mean? He's like, I was in 5th place, and 5th place is where I'm going to be. ends up in 8th. All right, well, 8th place is where I'm going to be. We are not changing a thing. And you know what? I feel that. I really do. Turbo, Mopar. Mopar looks good. Turbo, Mopar, you gonna pass? I don't know. I think he just took a look to the inside there, though this isn't an area for passing really unless you've got a great slipstream. And now he's looking to see, am I going to go around the outside or the inside? This is turn 1. Looks like, I don't know if he's actually looking to make a move. I think he was just making sure there was space for both of them there. Good job to maintain space for them there. Tommy is getting lapped by Venom and 2 other drivers behind Venom. So remember, Tommy had to pit for damage there. So Tommy on lap 31, everyone else on lap 32. So as fast as this track is, as big as this track is, the fact that we are only just now seeing a lapped car in the second stint, and only because that car had to pit for damage, is fantastic. That speaks to the pace of the drivers around this track. I mean, this is a favorite. I know there was a lot of practice in the week leading up to the race, and so I expected great things, lots of consistency from these drivers, and we're not surprised to see it. The Truth up into 4th place. So the Truth was running pretty squarely in the mid-pack, you know, between 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th for a lot of that first stint. He finds himself in the top 5 here, along with Knudsen, who's also back there with him. So the racing since the pit stops has been very good to these two. Wooly in 7th place. He's made the pass on Carbon. Carbon with a 2.5 penalty. Where could he have picked that up? That's a lot. We're going to go back and see what happened there. Does he still have it? He still got it. Oh, it must have happened a long time ago. I see where Wooly makes the pass on him. There it is. There it is. So we're in the infield. We're almost on the way out of the infield, and I think what happens is the traction issue. I told you, you got to be careful coming out of here. Yep, hard on the throttle is not where you want to be. He ends up cutting the line because of that. Just some on throttle oversteer, and that will pick up a 2.5 penalty for him there, which is a big deal. I don't know that it's going to bring a pass about. I don't know that HPR and Turbo are going to pass him, but they'll be right up on him into turn 1 when he takes that penalty. It's a tough break there for Carbon Boy. You hate to see it. He's been racing really well in this race. Look at him, still like alongside Wooly, just like trying to make something happen, even though he knows he's gonna have to eat this penalty in not too long from now, actually. And who is that? An arrow that I'm seeing on the inside of the track? We're gonna go check out who that might be. I don't know if that's a glitch or if somebody really is hanging out on the side, on the inside of the track there. Yeah, Carbon Boy's penalty actually does what I thought it wouldn't. Turbo does pass. HPR does pass, rather. And Turbo is not there, but Carbon Boy loses a position to HPR due to that 2.5 penalty. You saw how far back HPR was. That's how bad a long penalty is right there. Turbo and Mopar look real racy. I wonder, is something going on there? You guys just flirting? Let me know. I'm trying to find out who's on the side of the road. Is it Tommy? It is Tommy. I think Tommy has parked it here. That might cause issues. I'm not sure. Looks like we're seeing green flags around. Well, I don't see the car anymore. The marshal around him was waving a green flag in that earlier. There we go. So maybe not, but oftentimes a car just parked there causes a yellow flag situation, which can be an issue because technically you're not supposed to pass in yellow flags, and I think in this game they turn that penalty back on. So you actually do pick up a penalty if you pass under yellow flag conditions. You hate to see it. Roses still leading Tattooed Freak. You are seeing a yellow flag. Yep, a yellow flag as they come across that. You see the arrow on the inside there. So for the drivers who are coming along, it is a yellow flag showing for them as they pass Tommy. So that probably caused some confusion for them there. And hopefully nobody picked up a penalty, because if you make a pass under yellow flags, like I said, you are served a penalty in this game now. Here's Wooly on Venom. Just trying to get a little bit of slipstream off of him to see if he can get enough of a nose ahead for turn one. He isn't able to do it. Venom keeps that position. Again, that's what I mean. Easier to defend than it is to pass. Wooly is technically in the faster car, but Venom able to hold on by sheer, just by having track position there. So Wooly's going to have to try again somewhere else. HPR is in the mix as well. HPR in 8th place, breaking deeper into the top 10 than he has before. Behind them, Carbon Boy, of course, had that long 2.5 penalty. He's way behind them too, so I think maybe wasn't able to shake that off because he should still be right on top of HPR. HPR made the pass just after the penalty, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't anything crazy. Is that Buck Nasty back there in the grass again, or Mopar? It's Mopar, I think, in the grass. Hold on, what just happened? Tell me about it, Mopar. Show me. Oh, weird. Just coming out of the hairpin. Just goes out wide. Actually, it's not too hard to do that. If you get on the throttle, you'll look like you're doing just fine, and then it's too late when you realize you're actually understeering a little bit to the outside of that turn. I've done it. He did lose a position to Turbo there. He's going to have dirty tires, so actually loses some time to Turbo as well, because would have had struggles with traction getting onto the oval, onto the banking. Buck Nasty still in 12th place, just ever since losing several positions after that spin in the first stint, has not been able to recover. Tommy Moon sitting in the grass there, of course. His day is over. We got a Rusty Maggots ahead of a Tattooed Freak. Can we go back 30 seconds and see if we can see what happened to Tattooed? Nope, it's too late. The pass is already made. 30 seconds back, we're not going to go further. But, yeah. Rusty in second, Tattooed in third. Roses way up ahead. I don't see any damage on either car, so maybe a penalty is to blame here. But either way, Roses has lost his escort, his teammate. Where's the Truth compared to these two? He's right there. So the Truth in fourth is right up on Tattoo now. So that puts him into podium contention at this point. And you can see Rusty not too far ahead of them. And Roses isn't even that far away either. So he's got to make sure that he doesn't plant a foot wrong on this track, or else everyone behind him is coming right up. Knudsen sits in fifth. He's got a huge gap to the Truth. He's just kind of lost his running mate there. But he is still sitting firmly in fifth place, just a bit far away from the action. Wooly is coming up behind him though, so I was talking about Wooly being real quiet and being a creature of habit, and basically I just gotta take my foot out of my mouth now because Wooly is on a tear, taking positions away from people. We saw him make a couple of passes over the last few laps, and now he is stalking Knudsen. HPR out wide, trying to come out of the infield section there. That could have been ugly. It's pretty slippery out there. So Venom sits in 8th. Carbon Boy behind him in 9th. Not a real big change there. Turbo still in 10th place. So Turbo just hasn't been able to get out of the back of the pack all race long. Of course, Mopar and Buck Nasty with the same fate. Where did they start? Let's see. They started back there. So Turbo in 12th, HPR in 13th, Mopar's TCU Frogs in 14th. So these are the drivers who finished towards the top of the order in our last race, and for some reason just aren't able to translate that, to make that success translate here at Daytona. They're still just languishing in the back of the track. Daytona is, of course, a different beast from Goodwood. They've got some things in common, but not a whole lot. out of this section. The front of those cars dipping and diving as the drivers come out of the infield and onto the banking. I love the fidelity of the tracks in this game. Of course, you know, there are more realistic games such as iRacing and the like on PC, but as far as console goes, it really doesn't get better than the Gran Turismo series. Of course, Project Cars, the early Project Cars games 1 and 2 were pretty more technical games, but they also never really worked on console. So I still count those as PC games. They were very broken on console, especially if you tried to race with a wheel on those games. So you really can't beat Gran Turismo, and just the fact that these tracks are laser scanned, and so Polyphony Digital has the data. They have the data on where all those dips and divots are on the track. We may not get all of them in the race because at the end of the day, you know, you're still going to be limited by the technology you have. You can't literally put every single piece of data that you have in there and act on it, you know, but they put as much as they can in there. Your car will be affected by bumps. Your car will be affected by slight changes in camber or a weird paving issue on the outside of a corner. You know, it's the little things like that really make the race, the game feel realistic. Rather, look at Rusty, still holding on to that second. What? The truth passed tattoo free. We gotta go back. What happened? We miss it. HPR in the pits. We missed that. All right, we're not gonna see this pass, but let's see why HPR is in the pits. I see damage on that car. We're gonna go back further just to see. He's already got it here, so don't know why he picked up that damage, but it's front arrow and the front left wheel. You definitely don't want aero damage on this track. So HPR ends up pitting to fix that. Obviously, top speed matters here. So if you've got an issue with your aerodynamics, that's going to affect you. Look at Mopar on Carbon Boy now. Again, Carbon on the mediums. Mopar is on the softs, and it looks like Mopar has passed Turbo to even get into this situation where he can make a pass. Or oh, and Mopar loses the back end of that car, so it's going to lose the position to Turbo again. You got to be careful coming out of International there, and Mopar is too hard on the throttle. Fishtails loses the rear end, and now Buck Nasty in the fight as well because of that. Carbon Boy lives again. He's got to feel like a little fish that got away from a shark there. Got more sharks behind you, bud, but good job. Good job keeping it steady, staying clean up there, getting out of that corner better than your enemy did. Wooly in fifth place. No, sixth place. Coming up on Newton, still hasn't been able to make that pass, so we saw him getting closer and closer, but we're not seeing much in the way of progress as far as making an actual positional change here. An hour and 8 minutes in, so 22 minutes left to go of racing, and so far it's pretty good. Cars have stayed pretty close to one another. We've had several packs that have raced together. We've seen positional changes. We've seen changes made in the pits. We've seen changes made due to penalties. We've seen all sorts of things here. Look at the gap Roses has. Look at this camera angle. I said he wasn't that far away just 2 or 3 laps ago, and he's just making it work, going faster and faster. However, Truth actually has our fastest lap with a 1 minute 45.659. Now that could be due to slipstream. He was racing behind Tattooed for quite some time, and with a good slipstream he can pick up a lot of speed, but it still just shows that, hey, the truth is coming for everyone. Everyone be careful. He's on a tear here. He seems to like this track, right? You're gonna have tracks that you're great at, and you're gonna have tracks that you're not that good at. I love that this is a 10-week, a 10-round series, 10-round season, so you really get a pretty large variety of track types, and so really everyone has a chance to like have their day, if you will, because you're just not it's rare that you're not going to find anything that works for you. And when you have 10 different places and 10 different car combinations to race. HPR, even having pitted, is ahead of Turbo, because Turbo's got damage now. Oh, that couldn't have happened too long ago. What did we miss? Wrong car. You got the damage here? He's got the damage here. We're still going back. We're still going back. He's got the damage here too? Like, that long ago? Alright, 20 more seconds, but if it's not, if it's already there, then okay. Doesn't have it here. This is a while ago. Oh, he got tapped by Buck Nasty. Is that a tap? Hold on. I feel like it was a tap. Eesh. Let's watch from Buck Nasty's end. Oh, yeah, he runs right into him. Buck Nasty doesn't get any damage from that, by the way. That definitely sucked. Buck Nasty, looks like he's trying to slow down for him there, but just continues. Which makes sense. With incidents like that, there will be you can make an incident report. You don't have to wait for the driver, especially if it can potentially cause issues with other drivers who are coming up behind you, right? You're slowing down to try to do a nice thing for someone, but then you cause another incident and even more damage. It's not worth it. So I believe the directive when situations like that happens is to just keep on driving. You know, you can apologize in the chat later. An incident will be filed. You can self-report, or the driver who was hit will report it. But just keep on moving. So Turbo picks up rear aero damage and right rear wheel damage on that, which is interesting because he got hit pretty much square on the back, but picks up penalty on that wheel anyway, and picks up damage rather. And so he is probably going to want to pit with the aero damage. We'll stick with him and see here. Is he going to just pass by a pit entry? Yep, he's going to pass by it. Maybe going to fill out the car for a lap or two before deciding to come in. But, yeah, took a hit there. Here's the truth, right up on Rusty Maggot. So for real, the truth has absolutely been on a tear, and now is looking to take second place. Roses way up there, as you can see. Tattooed isn't even in this fight, by the way. Tattooed just coming out of the infield. Don't know what happened to Tat with pace, but it looks like the softs are not agreeing with him at all here, because Tattooed goes from running towards the front and even making his way to the very front of the race to now running in fourth place with a huge gap between himself and any podium positions. These liveries are looking great on this car, by the way. two teammates, Rusty and the Truth, just running together. Haven't seen a whole lot coming from them. As they come towards turn one, we're just running a whole lap with the two of them, just running together. The Truth sitting behind Rusty, not making a move, maybe saving fuel back there. And of course, you want to be nicer to someone who's rocking the same exact livery as you. Newton is closer to Tattooed Freak. So Tattooed almost under attack for even 4th place here. With Wooly still behind Newton. Wooly's not been able to make that pass. You saw him catch right up, but he seems to be back either in fuel saving mode or maybe the tires have fallen off. I don't know, but I haven't seen Wooly advancing any further since getting back up into 6th place here. Of course, he was running in 5th for the start, the early stint here. Venom in 7th, done a pretty good job holding on to positions, and he's got Carbon Boy between himself and everybody back there. So Buck Nasty is who's behind Carbon Boy now, so he's probably hoping Carbon Boy holds Buck Nasty back, and maybe those two will hold each other back and give him a little more leash here. 15 minutes of racing to go, so of course all he wants is for everyone behind him to be held up so he can hold on to that 7th place. I think that might be Venom's highest finish this season thus far. Let me see here. Let's see. What's the point structure? I can't see positions. I can see points. Is that annoying? So annoying. Sure. Uh-oh. Mopar, you gonna do something? I think Mopar's gonna do something on the outside of Carbon Boy here. They're coming towards turn 1. Can he make something happen in the brakes? He is on the softer tire. However, they're starting to wear out. Looks like he's got it though, deep on the brakes. He makes it around. He's got that pass done. So Mopar up into 9th place. I think that's his first time in the top 10 in a little while here. Carbon Boy down to 10th. Again, just holding on to positions on the medium tires here. He could come back on them. You never know what might happen. That's the beauty of racing in a lobby full of people who are actually close to one another in skills. And plus, you never know what might happen. Yeah, Carbon Boy alongside Mopar out of the international Horseshoe, not international, sorry, out of the hairpin there. So he's got a little speed on Mopar in some spots, and it just takes one mistake to lose a position once again on this track. Some great racing we've seen so far this season. Really been loving it. But by the way, yes, this thus far, if Venom is able to keep 7th place here, would be his highest finish in the season so far. Of course, we're not even halfway through. This is round 4. We have 10 rounds of racing to go here, so people are still just... By round 4, you've found your stride. You can race around other people. You kind of got an idea of how things are. You got an idea of where people are. You know, when you're racing, you got an idea who you're going to be racing around, right? But it also means that there's change that comes with that. You would think that, okay, now I know what's going on, everything's steady. No, because everyone knows what's going on now, they're gonna do better. And so we're gonna start to see some changes in finishing orders here, I expect, as we enter the middle rounds of the season. I love that we have a long season. I do. I miss my Saturday nights during the season, but it's fun. It's still fun. Mopar takes a pretty wide line coming out of the infield there. I've seen it a couple times, and it, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem worth it to me. Seems like an unnecessary risk to go so far out there. But it's been working for him, I suppose. Tattoo, passed by Knudsen. When did that happen? Can I see it? Has it been too long now, or just tell me if it's been too long? Yeah, it's been a while. Probably wasn't very dramatic, but I'd love to see another position change. Well, Freak isn't losing him. So Knudsen should still be on his toes here. 10 minutes of racing. 10 minutes left to go. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the banner because why not? Why not? At this point, we are so close to the end that we don't really need it, right? And it's not live. So no one's gonna gain an advantage from seeing this early, and with 10 minutes left to go, you barely have an advantage to gain anyway. Ooh, but with a penalty. So Venom spared a pass there by Buck Nasty. Mopar also gets the position over Buck there, so Buck finds himself back behind Paralysis, unfortunately. Just not having a good time. Ooh, that's a pass on Venom by Mo Paralysis. Let's go back and watch that happen. So Mopar go from inside of his car. Ooh, on the brakes. Hits him, actually, but yeah, Venom just brakes so much earlier than Mopar. I don't think he had anywhere to go, really. He was already on the inside, and he just taps him. That knocks Venom offline, which also brings Buck Nasty up for a position. So Venom probably not very happy about that, but I don't necessarily know that there was a whole lot to be done there, except to brake earlier, of course, by Mopar, as he had quite a bit of slipstream there, it looks like, but no damage that I can see on either car. So I wonder if they fixed the damage model, or because I feel like in races past, of course we were complaining about it, you know, it felt like if you breathed on a wall, you got damage. Look at Rose's go. Look how far away the Truth is. The Truth has gotten past Rusty Maggots, by the way, so the teammates have swapped places. We can't even see where Rose's is. Where is he? Is that him, that black speck up there? Yeah, that's Rose's way up there, just running away with it. Not too much longer to go in the race, so good on Rose's there. Nice patient racing. Picks up first place in the pit stops, actually. Everyone pitted, and he ran an overcut strategy, pitted later than everyone else, and came out in first place, came out on top. So good job there. All he has to do is hold on to it. Hold on to it for 8.5 more minutes of racing, and Hypre will have another win in Division 2. Hypre Racing, of course, Hypre also in charge of our graphics. Everything you see on the screen that looks fantastic, like that RWB, the sponsor banner on the left there, all the nice little things that we put on screen, those come from Hypre Bixteca specifically. So shout out to them, thank you to them as always. It's very enjoyable to be able to commentate on a stream with such high quality production, and those graphics are a huge part of it for sure. Now let's see here. I want to make sure that we have everything we need for the end of the race updated, because we're close to it. We're almost there. Truth, Rusty, Knudsen. That yellow flag, of course, is due to Tommy Moon. Nobody's wrecked. Tommy's just parked there, having ended their race not too long after the pit stop there. Just picked up a big penalty, had damage right after the very start of the lap, and after having ran in last place the whole race, just probably decided, hey, let's park it, let's call it a day. Let's save some tires, save some budget for the next race, and try again, right? Well, this little train behind Tattooed Freak here, I mean, it's quite a train. Well, it's Knudsen now, right? Tattoo's in 5th. But just behind Knudsen, of course, is Wooly, not too far away. Again, though, I haven't seen Wooly move up closer since jumping into that 6th place spot. Did get closer to Knudsen, but hasn't been close enough to make a move in quite some time. So I'm not really sure if we're going to see much from Wooly, though. This might be the time. The last 7-8 minutes, you know, you finally saved enough fuel. You think you have a little surplus, and maybe you start to push on drivers now instead of later. It happens. It happens, and of course, mistakes can still happen. You can see everyone's tires pretty worn out. Of course, people like Venom here, who are on the mediums, gonna have a better time with their tires than others. Mopar on those softs, they're almost all gone. Carbon Boy was on the mediums. Turbo's tires almost all gone as well. He's still riding with that damage that we saw him take earlier when he got spun around by Buck Nasty. Rose's softs actually look better than most, but also pretty low. Rusty and the Truth going at it. Rusty around the Truth. Oh, we gotta catch that. Come on. We gotta catch this whole battle. Nope, we're going back as far as it takes. No, oh, it's starting here. Yep, we're gonna catch them while they're in the infield. We're gonna go on board with Rusty so we can get it directly from his perspective. He comes out of the infield behind his teammate. Doesn't get a better exit or anything, but he is square in his slipstream. And yes, get a little offset on his line. That's where that air is going. And Rusty, or the Truth, goes around the outside and maybe even just let him have it. Maybe just like, all right, teammate, you got it. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. And so Rusty into the chicane leads these two, but I think we saw them side by side later on. So let's keep on watching. Or at least we saw the Truth all over Rusty. What's the fuel situation? Rusty looking like he's got about an 1/8 tank of fuel. The Truth, identical fuel situations for these two here. So it's not like the Truth needed to save some fuel or something over Rusty. He just let him have that pass. Now, the Truth weaving back and forth behind him. I don't know if that's some lag thing or if he's just trying to make sure that that slipstream isn't as effective as it is. Maybe he doesn't want to make a pass into turn 1. So just trying to get out of the slip, but not too far out of it. But Rusty still leads the two of these as they enter the infield for what will be one of the last times. Tattooed is still all over Knudsen. He wants that position back. I don't blame him. Knudsen's tires look like this. Tattooed's tires look like that. Knudsen's fuel looks like this. Tattooed's fuel looks like that. Freak has a little less fuel than Knudsen does, but the tires situation is so similar that it's almost identical. There's a very imperceptible change. You probably can't even see it on your screen, but I can see it because I got eyes like a ninja. Knudsen drifting out of the hairpin. That's not fast, but there's nowhere for Tattoo to really go there. So Knudsen a bit lucky about where it happened to him. He's losing traction coming out. Tattooed all the way inside. I think he lost the rear end too. I think that's what I started seeing there. Wow. Let's go chase cam behind Tat's car. Yep, sitting behind the Freak now. You see, here's where Knudsen starts to drift a little bit. Might have been tapped. No, it wasn't tapped. That was all throttle there. But here, both of them struggling for traction coming out of this corner. You can see the rear tires are pretty bad on both of them. And Tattoo just goes almost all the way around. Knudsen touches the wall. He understeers into the wall coming out of there. And the Tattoo picks up a half-second penalty because he does go inside track limits. Knudsen, no penalty, but does get damage. Front aero damage, front right wheel damage from hitting that wall there. Both of these drivers unhappy with their situation. Knudsen, of course, would have been slowed down from touching the wall, rubbing it that slow, but he's also got front aero damage, which could mean either less downforce, which is probably a good thing around here, or it's more downforce. It's drag, which is the last thing that you want around Daytona, and it looks like it might be the latter, because even in Freak's slipstream, he's not getting closer. Now, of course, Freak has to take this penalty, and so Knudsen's probably going to get this pass anyway. Yeah, be careful there. He's not going to ghost for very long. So Knudsen comes out around him, but I think Knudsen is getting more drag from that damaged front wing, and that gives Tattooed a chance to get the position back before we end the race here. 3 minutes left. Roses still leads. Rusty now in second place over the Truth, and the Truth with a big gap to Rusty. They had the exact same amount of fuel earlier. The Truth now showing the red warning, so maybe he's realizing, okay, I've been kind of pushing a little more than Rusty, but I think Rusty, yeah, just as I was about to say, I think Rusty's not too far from getting that warning himself, and so maybe the Truth knows something Rusty doesn't, like, hey, we can't make it if we keep going the pace that we were going. So we backed off of him. Knudsen with a huge gap on Freak. What happened to Freak? Because he's got damage now. Ooh, yeah. A thing went down. He's in the grass. Go back further. Tattooed Freak getting to the end of the race here. He's through the international Horseshoe. What happened? Oh, he has got the wrong line going into that what is the word I'm looking for? Into the kink. Because look, you are in slipstream here. You are carrying a lot of speed. That kink is full speed, but if you have the right line, he not only is he on the wrong side, he turns in late on top of that. Just a huge lapse of concentration there. You can see his reaction. Watch again as he comes through the kink. Look at how late he starts turning that wheel. I think he just didn't realize where he was on track. Again, just lack of concentration. It's too late to turn in. You are in dirty air. You're carrying more speed than you normally would, and you are lacking traction on that front axle. Look at those tires. They're almost done. So all of that combined to this crash into the wall here for Tattooed Freak. So he's not going to get fourth place back at all. He's lucky to keep fifth. In fact, why is Wooly way back there? What happened to him? Wooly used to be right on top of these two. I realize now he hasn't been for a while, so I'm not going to go all the way back. It just hit me that I haven't seen him for a while. But he's lucky to keep that position against Wooly there and not pick up engine damage slamming into that wall. As it stands, as you can see, it's front aero, front left wheel. That gives Knudsen fourth place, free and clear. He's got the same damage, except it's the right wheel on his car. The Truth in third place. He is not going to make a move on Rusty. So Rusty sitting in second again. Rusty's been up here since the start of this race, just like Roses. Where did those two start? Let's see. Roses started in 11th place. Rusty started in 5th. So Rusty has done a fantastic job just to come back in this race. Not only to come back, but to no, sorry, not come back, but come up higher than where he started, but to hold on to it as well. So good job by Rusty there. And of course, Roses coming all the way from 11th place to now leading this race with just a little over a minute to go is something to be proud of as well. Wooly's in 6th, but Nasty's finally got his way up to 7th place. HPR and Mopar going at it. HPR we saw had to pit for damage earlier, so this represents some real racing by him. Mopar outside. He's out of bounds on the track here, almost in danger of losing a position to Venom. And so that's going to give HPR some breathing room because Mopar went really wide there. Venom still behind him. Venom now in 10th place. Oh, Mopar, what happened there? I think he missed his braking, or well, I don't know. That was weird. That was weird. So this is Mopar coming in turn 1 with HPR. That was actually pretty close. I think they might have even touched doors a little bit there. Mopar way out wide in the corner, and then something happens to him into international here. Oh, yep, just out. laid on the brakes, no traction on those front tires, laid on the brakes, out in the slippery stuff, and look alongside him. Here's Carbon Boy to come get that position back. Thank you, I'll take that. Now in 10th place on those racing mediums, and Mopar isn't even going to make it another lap here. He's got 30 seconds though, so as long as he doesn't cross the finish line before the 30-second mark, he's probably okay. Does he stand and lose a position to Turbo? Not really. Turbo is so far away. Turbo's almost an entire lap back on Mopar, so Turbo just not in this fight at all. So Mopar could run out of fuel, and it looks like he has. Yeah, that's Mopar with no gas in the car now. He's got a long way to go before the start-finish line at a very slow speed, going 130, 132 around the oval here compared to Carbon Boy, who's at 163. The Truth takes the checkered flag. Roses has to go another lap. I thought he would, but the Truth, third place, is just far back enough that he took the checkered flag for third, so that is set. Everything behind him is going to be set. Then Knudsen in fourth, Tattooed in fifth, Wooly probably in sixth. I don't see a chance for a pass happening here, but Nasty in seventh. Yeah, no one behind him, nothing doing. He's out of fuel though. He is out of fuel, but he's gonna cross the line here in no problem. HPR in eighth. Venom holds on in ninth place, so stays in the top 10. Carbon in 10th. Mopar out of fuel, gonna come around in 11th place. Turbo is way far away, so not a problem for him. But well, no. This is Turbo here with Roses just behind him. We'll stay with Roses actually behind Turbo. Let's see if they do pass Mopar. I don't think they will. Ooh, well, they're getting close. But let's stay with Roses. We'll watch him get around Turbo here to take the checkered flag. One last lapped car before the end. That arrow that you see before him, that blue slow one right there, that's Mopar. So they are going to blast past Mopar. Here comes the line. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That was Roses making his finish, but hold on. We got to go see what that looked like for Turbo there, because that was close. There's Rusty. Oh my gosh. He just gets it above Mopar. I thought Mopar might be safe. He was not. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to slow motion this. We're gonna have to slow motion this. What's the angle? What's the right? I guess this might be the right angle. Here's hoping. Look at Mopar. He is hugging that yellow line, just like, please, please. And then Turbo comes blasting past him right there. Oh my gosh, you hate to see it. Where does Turbo cross the line? There's Turbo's nose. There's Mopar's nose. Hang on, can I get to photo mode? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Let's do it. Y'all, if I'm Mopar, I'm sick. I'm sick. Okay? It was so close. He ran out of fuel a while ago. Turbo was almost an entire lap behind him. I mean, like, Mopar was entering the infield section, and Turbo was coming out of the infield section a lap down. So, Mopar running out of fuel really messed him up there. Look at the fidelity on this. There are signatures on the start-finish line at this track. I'd never noticed that before. Cole Andrews was there on August 26th, 2019. That is pretty cool right there. Gotta love it. Now I gotta get my name on it before the next time they update this track, huh? Right? And make sure my name's here the next time Gran Turismo updates this thing. But that, y'all, that's our race. Let's go back to Roses. Our winner is going to take, obviously, just a slow down laps here. But Roses with a fantastic win over everyone ever since the pit stop. Took first place, never lost it. Just ran away with it in clean air. Obviously didn't run out of fuel. We had a couple people run out of fuel towards the end there. Cena passed for position due to it, but this was a great race from start to finish. I'm very happy with it. I hope that you are too. Man, I can't wait. The next couple of races are actually going to be broadcasted just like this. I will have them uploaded hopefully much sooner than I did this one. I'm uploading this one on Friday night. The next race is tomorrow, Saturday. But I will be away and unable to record these live for the next couple of Saturdays, and so they'll be recorded and then uploaded to the YouTube channel. As I said, shout out to our podium. Roses winning, of course. Rusty Maggots in second place. A fantastic race from Rusty there. Even when it looked like he wasn't going to get it, he's sitting in fourth place by a lot for a little bit there, and ended up coming back up and making something happen. So a good job by him. The Truth, of course, coming in from mid-pack. I mean, just it looks solidly mid-pack for the whole first stint. That second stint came alive on those soft tires. I said some people would come alive during that, and that sure enough is what happened. So a good job by the Truth to get third place there. We don't have podium interviews today. I was gonna do them, but I opted not to call the guys, so sorry to anyone if you really wanted your podium interview to happen. I promise I got you next week. Speaking of next week, actually tomorrow's race is at Autopolis. We're in the Supra GT4. Definitely don't miss that. I will have that uploaded by Monday night, so this upcoming Monday you'll see that race. Don't miss the race. You can't. It starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And here's a map with the time zone so you can see where it starts in your time zone. No excuses. Don't want to hear it. Actually, never mind. I forgot. This is going to be live. Forget the time zones. You'll see it on Monday. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. See you next time.